Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Would you come on in here with me and sit down? We're going to study today Psalm 18, and we're going to look today at verses 3 and 4. Now, 3 and 4 kick off for us the section of prayer and response that is so important in this psalm. It also begins for us the shadows of messianic prayer and deliverance on the cross. So 18 is, like I said, it's full of so many things. It's hard not to read this and see Messiah all over it. Now, as I said, we begin with this prayer. So he starts with praise. Verses 1 and 2, we have him praising the Lord. I will love you. You're my rock, fortress, deliverer, my God, my strength. My buckler, the horn of my salvation, my high tower. So he's praising the Lord for all of who the Lord is in his life. It's wonderful. And then in verse 3, he begins with, I will call on the Lord. I tell you what, let me just go ahead and read verses 3 and 4. I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. The sorrow of death compassed me. The floods of ungodly men made me afraid. And I could keep reading because really it's natural. The next section, the next verse is just following this pattern. The sorrows of hell, the snares of death, in my distress. We'll save that for tomorrow. But notice here verses 3 and 4. I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised. Now, he's already told us why he's worthy to be praised, right? He's my God. He says there, I love you, O Lord, my strength. So he's already, in his heart is praise for the Lord. And then when he comes to this prayer, and he says, I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised. Absolutely, he is worthy to be praised. He is to be praised. Because he's great, and he's good, and he's marvelous. And so shall I be saved from my enemies. So you see his confident confession. What's going to happen when he prays? He's going to be saved from his enemies. Okay, well that kind of sets us up, doesn't it? So what if that doesn't happen? What if the Lord doesn't hear his prayer? What if? Well, so many what ifs. But David's confident. He says, I will call, I will be saved. And who's going to do the saving? Well, there's only one place where salvation can be found, and that is with the Lord Jesus. And then he tells us a little bit about his condition. And here is where we begin to see the shadow of the cross. The sorrows of death compassed me. So David's experiencing that. His enemies want to kill him. They're all about getting rid of him. And then he says here, the floods of the ungodly men made me afraid. Floods of ungodly men. So he's flooded with these folk. They're everywhere. Now remember, the introduction said, in the day in which the Lord delivered him from the hands of his enemies, from the hand of Saul. So his enemies, was a flood of them. And what's the Lord going to do? He's going to deliver him from them. So here, David's prayer is, I have a problem. Here's my problem. Death has compassed me. There's a flood of ungodly men around me. And what do they want? Well, they want to destroy me. Men made me afraid, he says. There at the end of verse 4, the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. So fear of death, fear of this multitude that's come against him, all of it. But in the midst of that, he's confident that the Lord will save him. So we have the prayer, his confident confession about what's going to happen, salvation, and the problem. Here's what I'm facing. The snares of death, floods of ungodly men. And that's the problem that I'm facing. Here's the prayer that I'm going to pray. Now, tomorrow we're going to look at verses 5 and 6 and continue this problem section. Here's what's happening to me. And we'll get into that tomorrow. So I hope you'll join me then here on Daily Dose Radio.